A major change is coming for some UW-Madison students this semester. The university is eliminating a decades-old tutoring program, one that's helped hundreds of students each year. WMTV's Shayna Najawan is live in the studio with what that change means for students and the campus community. Shayna.
Yeah, the Academic Coaching to Thrive and Succeed program, or ACTS, has been a source of personalized tutoring for about 30 years. UW leaders say most of its services are duplicated elsewhere on campus, but staff with those other programs say it's not that simple.
So it's definitely going to impact other learning support resources on campus.
Amihan Huseman works with another tutoring service on campus, the Center for Academic Excellence, which serves about 600 students. She says she only learned about the ACTS cut weeks before the semester.
We did our hiring in April based on the numbers that we had. And we're told a month before the semester starts and a month after the fiscal year starts.
UW officials defend the decision, saying students still have plenty of support options. They said in a statement, quote, "A review of support services earlier this year determined that the services ACTS provided are now available elsewhere on campus, and the decision was made to end the program," end quote. But Huseman believes that's not entirely true.
And yes, there are lots of services on campus that will support many of the courses that were supported by ACTS. Yes. But it's not that personalized service.
Huseman also points out the change impacts student workers. She says dozens of undergraduates who worked as ACTS tutors are now without campus jobs.
To say that they only laid off one person and not count those 40 or so student workers is also pretty disingenuous. And I mean, I can't hire any more of them. I don't know what they're going to do.
UW-Madison points to its Office of Academic and Career Success, which trains hundreds of student tutors each semester and offers professional development opportunities designed to equip them for academic and career support roles. Officials said, quote, "OACS also supports the career services and advising communities, which also provide services to all students inside and outside school affiliations," end quote.
And because some of the classes ACTS once covered won't be offered anywhere else on campus, Huseman believes her team will now have to pick up the slack, putting added pressure on a program that wasn't designed to support those students. Live in the studio, Shayna Najawan, WMTV 15 News.